BS gang, what is up? Today we have a very exciting video because it doesn't just involve me like I have done in the past. Today's video is on a collaboration with another professional, and that professional is the Behavior Shotty. If that does not sound familiar to you, this is Carolyn Smith, aka the Behavior Shorty, and she did the first collaboration ever with me on this very channel. Okay, so we did behavioral dating, and I posted it back when I was visiting Reno. Carolyn was kind enough to do a follow-up video with me, so we ended up coming up with Attracting the Love You Deserve, aka Behavioral Dating 2.0. But before we get to that, I did want to mention the preference assessment I actually conducted on Carolyn herself before this collaboration. Of course, I did this in a naturalistic contingency where I was able to find out that a product from one of my links below was how I could reinforce her for doing this collaboration with me. Therefore, she will be receiving a special gift from Scout and Cellar where we have a clean, crafted commitment. If any of you guys are wine drinkers or coffee drinkers at all, I encourage you to check out the products I am offering from my links below. If you're too lazy to go click on the link below, the link is scoutandcellar.com/U equals behavioral stories. Now, with all that said, enough of me. Let's get to the collaboration with the one and only Behavior Shorty. I am Troy, everyone. I'm an international behavior therapist and organizational behavior management specialist. You can find me posting YouTube shorts here daily and other videos like this one every Wednesday and Friday. Oh, and last but not least, remember guys, the only thing standing between you and your goal is the BS story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it. Yo, my BS people, I am here with the Behavior Shorty again. If she looks familiar to you, that is because she was the very first person to ever collaborate with me on this channel. I was lucky enough to have her join me in 2022. Can't believe I forgot that, to do behavioral dating. But now today we're going to follow that up with Attracting the Love You Deserve. Enough of me introducing you, Caroline. Why don't you tell everyone about yourself and your history with behavior analysis?
Yeah, so I'm Carolyn. I've been in this field for a decade, but I've been at BCBA now for 7 years, working in clinic settings, school settings, home settings. Yeah, we experience with children of all ages. I love what I do. I mean, we all love what we do, but I love, the reason I started my page was to disseminate ABA and talk about, progressive changes we can make and, some of the red flags and green flags in companies. But then when I found myself on my dating journey over the summer is when I started to analyze dating behaviors, and that's when everything kind of took off. So
Awesome, awesome.
yeah.
Now that we have met you a second time here, right, Carolyn 2.0, let's
Yes.
transition into our follow-up video, Attracting the Love You Deserve. Remember, everybody, you can find Carolyn at Behavior Shorty on Instagram, and you can actually find our previous video on my channel, Behavioral Dating. But with that said, let's get into the first question. So everyone
Yes.
obviously feels that they should attract the love they deserve. Okay,
Mhm.
everyone feels like that. How does your Premack principle tie into this and giving yourself that advantage?
All right. So we all know the Premack principle first, then, right? So first this, and then you can have this. So I always say, like, if you don't love yourself first, you can't love someone else. And that's something that I learned when I was going through my divorce and my healing journey was I had to discover who I was first. I had to love who I was first, because if I didn't love the person I was, then how could I give myself to someone else? Because it's always about putting yourself first, right? So I had to figure out what I loved, what I wanted, what makes me happy, what are the things that I enjoy. And then that way I could figure out the type of person that I wanted to attract. Because if you don't love yourself and there are things you don't like about yourself, how are you going to be able to find someone that shares the same values as you? You have to find out what values you like. What are your goals in life? And then you can find someone who shares that as well.
That's very well said, right? So basically, long story short, first love yourself, then
Hmm.
you can worry about someone else.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So number two, when creating that behavior intervention plan, okay, the behaviors that you want to see out of your ideal partner, when do you decide that maybe you are being too flexible for someone, and what are the dangers of being extremely adaptable for someone else to date them?
So I think it's very important. I'm 34, right? So I'm at an age where it's like I'm not messing around. So I'm not going to just be super flexible, because if we are way too adaptable for somebody, we're going to find ourselves attracting someone that we don't want. Think about the behaviors, like when we're making behavior plans for our clients, what are the behaviors we want to see in our clients? What are the behaviors we want to increase, right? So, I'm not trying to attract someone that, like, I don't want to change this person. I want to find someone that wants the same things that I want. And if, like, for example, I want kids. So if I'm attracting someone that doesn't want kids, am I going to be happy? No. So in that sense, being too adaptable, you can find yourself in hot waters, because if you really want something and your partner doesn't, then guess what? You're not going to be happy. You have to find that, balance.
Okay,
So,
that kind of leads us perfect for the third
yeah.
question, because you got to discuss the contingency contract for me and how that plays into what you just said.
Yeah. So the contingency contract is, just like when in a behavior analysis, a contingency contract is when you kind of write down rules that you're going to follow. So you can do a contingency contract for yourself. You could do a contingency contract for another person. I use it a lot for myself with like self-management. So like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z before I can treat myself to like Starbucks or something. I need to get this done. But when you're talking about in a relationship, you have to put down like, what are some of the things that are like negotiables versus non-negotiables? What are some of the things that you're going to abide by when you're looking to date somebody, when you're on the dating apps? I'm going to make sure that this guy is like not a smoker. I'm going to make sure this guy wants kids. These are the things that I'm going to abide by. And I want to make sure that the person I want to abide by, so that I can make sure that we have the same goals and values, making sure that we're following through, managing yourself, right? So I always say, like, sometimes we go on dating apps and we're like, okay, well, we want this type of person, right? We're looking for these qualifications. But if we bend, then we're not abiding by our contract. So,
Very, very well said again.
yeah.
So let's transition into your questions, because they're very similar to some of mine. Let's see how I can answer them,
Yeah.
but I'm probably gonna shoot the question back at you.
Okay.
Um,
Do. Okay. So, all right. So, I have my question. So, you ready?
mhm.
Okay. Do you think it's important to create a contingency contract for yourself with dating?
I will tell you what, I've never done that. I've never created a contingency contract when dating. I have had time to think about some of the critical consequences that I do need. But when I look at my last relationships, I do think it's important to create a contingency contract specific to what you need, because you need them. Like you said, if you're bending yourself for someone, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
And I know in the Cooper book, I actually looked it up for the contingency contract last time. It said something like a contingency contract is a document between two or more people, like it specifies their behavior towards one another or something like that. Contingency for reinforcement.
Mhm.
I felt that was very important to have in a relationship for critical consequences.
So actually, I like that you brought up the Cooper book and, like, the definition of contingency contracts and everything, because yeah, like when you're actually in a relationship, it's about abiding by, what you guys agreed on, right? So, if you find yourself dating somebody and you both agree, like, you both want kids, you both want marriage, like, you have to abide by that contract, right? That's something that you want. Now, yeah, there are behaviors that, like, I guess there are some behaviors we can change. I think I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video, but when I started dating again, one of the things that I did, which actually a recommendation from my therapist, was I wrote down kind of a list of the qualities I was looking for in a guy. Right. So, what are my negotiables? What were my non negotiables? And what are some things that would be great as a bonus, but like not something? So, like, my non negotiables were like, they must want kids, they can't be a smoker, they must align with me politically. I had my negotiables in terms of like, well, how many kids they want, like that sort of thing. And then with like the added bonuses would be like, someone who came from a very similar background to me, like in terms of family, because my parents have been together for like 37 years. If I was with someone who had parents who had the same type of relationship, that's an added bonus, but not something that I like need to be worried about. But yeah, with those sort of things, like there are certain things that we might look for, but we can change that. Like we can be a little bit more flexible with it, especially, for being a little too picky.
I love how you said that. I actually have not thought that hard into it, but I have thought about, a little bit of critical consequences.
Yeah.
So what was your other question for me?
It was, do you feel it's important to change the behaviors we're looking for? AKA individualize the behavior plan as we evolve as humans. So just like with our clients, how we're always changing the behavior plan, do you feel that you can change what you're looking for as you evolve?
Fuck yeah, I do. I mean,
Yeah.
like excuse my language there, but 100% yes. That's so simple for me because our motives
Mhm.
are constantly changing throughout our lifetime. And because of this, if our motives, like a lot of little motives, all of a sudden change in one moment, that's probably going to impact our critical consequences as well too. That means our critical consequences might change too. So if our motives are constantly changing, yes, you do have to
Right.
individualize the behavior plan. The
Mhm.
one thing I did want to mention there is for the critical consequences, if the dependency is going in one direction in a relationship, it leaves room for exploitation, which is why you do have to not bend yourself for somebody.
Mhm. Exactly. And I was also thinking, like, when I first started dating again after my divorce, I was like, okay, I had certain qualifications. And I actually had conversations on my Instagram. I posted a question that was something like along the lines of, what's the first thing you look for in a dating app? And some people were like, I look for the picture, I look for the height. And like for me, there were certain things that I was looking for within the dating app. And then I found out that my type was not exactly my type. Like, did I really want the manly man that could change a tire but was a complete jerk? Or do I want the nice guy who doesn't know how to change a tire, but it's okay because I got AAA for Christmas for my parents. So, like, I don't need someone that can change my tire. But, like, you can change the things that you're looking for. It's totally fine. We evolve, our behaviors evolve as humans. And you think about our private events too, right? What are some of the things that we want and desire? Our MOs, like, those absolutely change based on what needs are being met at the time. So,
Wow. So that was beautifully said. I wish you could just
Mhm.
answer my questions for me. That's all the time we have for today. That's all we've had. Remember, everybody, you can find the magnificent Carolyn right here at Behavior Shorty on Instagram. With all that said, Carolyn, thank you so much for coming on my channel. Are there any last comments or statements you want to leave the people watching, or maybe send a message to all the behavioral nerds out there?
Yeah. So, anyone who's been following my page looking for more dating stuff, I will have more dating stuff. I promise. I think I posted the other day. I haven't been inspired, but I have some new inspiration. So I will be posting more stuff. I have a couple more things up my sleeve. I will be posting soon. I'm really excited about it. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Carolyn, so much.
Thank you.
That's why you can catch me next time. Because you got to generalize, maintain, and create a model with long-lasting sustainability and one that's open to change. So at the end of the day, if you want to drive results, you're looking to get paid, you got to do what's right to get that bag.